So this is section 5 continued, and chloroplasts are pretty nifty in that they can make sugar from sunlight. I mean, how cool is that when you could go outside, just draw me a chloroplast here, you could go outside and get the energy from sun, and just have lunch. I mean, how cool is that? Yay, we'd all be green because we'd have chlorophyll. Okay. Now there are other pigments in plants, but the majority of, the plant has the chloroplast, which contains chlorophyll. But whenever we actually learn about photosynthesis, we'll learn about these other pigments. So it's not the only pigment, but there are more. Because we have lots of different enzymes that help with photosynthesis, so turning the energy from sunlight, plus carbon dioxide, plus water, into sugar and oxygen, which is great for us. We'll also learn the whole process of photosynthesis. There's actually multiple parts going on here in the chlorophyll. We have dark reactions and light reactions and photosystems, and I know that sounds incredibly maybe boring, but it's actually pretty cool, and we'll get to that later in the year. But you're going to find chloroplast in the leaves of the plants, in your leaves, as well as other green organs. And then also you're going to find chloroplast in some algae, as well as some photosynthetic bacterium. Actually, no, I take that back. Some bacterium are photosynthetic. So the chloroplast has two main structures, that you're going to see. You're going to see the thylakoids and the stroma. Now, I like to think of the thylakoids as green Oreos. Now, your book uses poker chips, but, how many poker games do you play? I eat a lot of Oreos. So, a thylakoid is just an individual, green Oreo, and a grana, or grana, is going to be a stack of green Oreos. And they're kind of connected to each other by, I think of them as little hamster tubes, but they have these different connection points from one thylakoid to another. And outside of the thylakoids, you have what's called the stroma, and I'm just going to do that in blue, this light blue. And this is just an internal fluid, and it contains chloroplast DNA. So, we said that chloroplasts have DNA and so do mitochondria, as well as ribosomes. I'm trying to spell ribosomes there, it's hard to see. As well as lots of different enzymes. Okay. So we also have an intermembrane space with our chloroplast. We have the thylakoid space, we have the stroma, and the chloroplast is just a plant organelle that belongs to the plastid. So there are more than just chloroplasts. There are actually other families members. So we have something called an amnioplast, and it actually stores starch, so it's colorless, or you can think of it, starch as amylose, nosins and ose, so it's a sugar. A lot of roots will have amylose in it. Chromoplast, and it's actually a orange, I should have wrote that in orange, It's an orange pigment, so it gives fruits and flowers orange and yellowish hues. So that is your chloroplast. So chloroplasts and mitochondria, they're very similar. They're mobile. I mean, how cool is that? They actually move along the cytoskeleton of the cell on like their own little monorail system. So, pretty neat there. Here's a more sophisticated picture of the chloroplast. So I said that thylakoid is like your green Oreo. It's just one of these is a thylakoid. A whole stack would be a granum. Notice the little ribosomes and how we have a double membrane. And then the fluid stroma, and oh, there's some DNA. And we're almost to the end of this segment here. Peroxisomes are included. A little bit different from mitochondria and chloroplasts is they only have a single membrane. Sorry if you hear my dog snoring. So they don't have a single membrane, and peroxisomes contain enzymes that are going to remove hydrogen atoms from different substrates, and they will transfer them to oxygen. And this makes hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2. And that's how it gets its name of peroxisomes, from the peroxide it makes. So there's lots of different functions to why we need peroxisomes. Some are going to be helping with oxygen, to break down fatty acids, so that the mitochondria can use those broken down bits of the fatty acids, so it can help fuel cellular respiration. They also help with detoxifying alcohol. So once you turn 21, you may need some help from peroxisomes. They also are going to help with poisons, transfer hydrogen to different poisons. But we know that hydrogen peroxide, you don't want to be drinking that. It is toxic, but it has their own enzymes that convert hydrogen peroxide to water. So we can see that a cell, how the different compartments within the cell structure is very crucial to the functions it performs. And then those enzymes that produce the hydrogen peroxide, and those that get rid of the toxic compounds, are eventually going to be put away from the other cellular components, so those cellular components won't be damaged. Some different peroxisomes you may hear of are glyoxysomes, and you'll find these in plant seeds, because they're gonna help with seedlings when they are going to germinate, so that they can have a source of energy by converting fatty acids to sugar, until they can actually go through photosynthesis. But scientists don't really know. The jury's still out on how these peroxisomes are related to other organelles. They can get larger by taking in proteins that are made from the cytosol and the endoplasmic reticulum, as well as those lipids from the endoplasmic reticulum. They think maybe they increase in number by just splitting in two when they reach a certain size. They just get so big they eventually divide. So then they go back to maybe that has something to do with the endosymbiotic theory. Not entirely. Oh, I'm on. Erase a little bit. I just want us to remember. Oh, my eraser is not working. Try one more time. Okay, it's a fail. I'll just do a different color. So sorry if there's going to be confusion, but a theory in science, we don't like to really say fact or proven. I don't like to say we never ever prove anything in science, because theories kind of leave a back door open for new evidence, but they have lots of evidence to back them up. Lots of peer review. So in this course, we will be doing peer review. And they're taken like a fact, but again, we know that there's more information out there, or we may need to modify our theory. And theories can have multiple hypotheses incorporated and unifying them. So when you write your lab reports, you won't say in conclusion, our hypothesis is proven. I will count points off, I guarantee you. You'd say, like, our hypothesis was supported. Okay, so keep that in mind. Because when we talk about more of these theories, like theory of evolution, cell theory, people in modern day, speech and in movies and on TV, I see it all the time how they're like, oh, it's a theory, and they don't understand really the meaning of theory, because people think, oh, a theory is just a guess. Like, I have a theory that, it's going to rain today. Like, that's just a guess. You don't have lots of evidence to back it up. You didn't go through peer review. So I know there's a lot of misconceptions about how we use that. So, anyway, look over section 5, and I will see you. Okay, and I don't want to do